We're joined today by Derek Davis, founder and singer for the band Babylon A.D. They've got a new album out. It's called Rome Wasn't Built in a Day. Derek, how's it going, man?
I'm doing very well, man. How about yourself?
I'm doing well. Thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate it.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
Babylon A.D. has a new album out. Rome Wasn't Built in a Day. Can you tell the listeners a bit about the new album?
Took a little while to make, a few years to make, just because, the COVID thing and everything like that. But we're very excited about it. We think we picked the best songs for the record. We had 18 to choose from, and we picked what we felt was the strongest for this album, for the 11 tracks. And the album's doing great. I mean, the first single came out, Wrecking Machine, about 6 weeks ago, and hit number 2 at the hard rock radio charts there for a week or so. And right now we're concentrating on the second single, which is Rome Wasn't Built in a Day, the title track of the album.
Yeah, that is awesome. I've heard Wrecking Machine, and that, as you mentioned, is getting a lot of airplay. And then I saw you got the video up for the title track. There's a lot of buzz going on about the new album. That's great. Yeah,
it's pretty exciting. We just played the Whiskey on Friday night, and it was a packed house, and it was pretty interesting to see how many people already knew the album. Were singing right with us. It was pretty cool.
Well, Derek, you've got a new rhythm section with you this time around. Can you tell us a bit about that? Who's playing with you these days?
Yeah, we've got a drummer whose name is Dylan Soto. He's 23 years old, and he's just he fit the band perfect. I mean, him and Craig Pepe, the bass player, they came kind of as a combo, as a to do an audition for us, and we thought we were going to have to audition a lot of different players, but they were the first 2 cats that showed up, and when they did, we played about 6 or 7 Babylon A.D. songs, and it sounded perfect. So there was no need to keep looking. It was pretty much fate, man. I mean, these guys fit perfect with the band,
Well, yeah, talking about getting some fresh blood in the band. I mean, that's 23 years old. That's definitely some young blood for sure.
Yeah, but he's an old soul, so it's pretty cool. He's not like some 23-year-old young kid that doesn't know anything. I mean, he knows. It's weird. Like, he's a walking encyclopedia on hard rock and roll. It's crazy being that young.
Well, of course, you and Ron Freshy have been together since day one. I mean, that's got to be great to have somebody to share, all this with for the long haul here. Yeah,
it's pretty interesting. Me and Ron's been together, and John too. He just came in and out of the band a few times for just various reasons. But John Matthews, the guitar player, the other guitar player, has been with us since 2016. So, it's pretty cool. And like you said, having fresh blood, it gives us a good shot in the arm. It's really exciting.
Well, and again, the new album from Babylon A.D., Rome Wasn't Built in a Day, is out. And I know it had been about, 6 or 7 years since Revelation Highway. How was the experience in the studio this time around? Did you guys try to change things up maybe from the last time?
Just a little bit. I went back. I produced this record too. So I went back and I listened to the first album a lot. And I really honed in on the sound that we had back then, 30 years ago, but I wanted to make this album similar to that in the fact that sound quality wise, it's pretty fat, I guess you'd say, mixed and mastered and everything like that compared to a lot of stuff. But as far as, I have a studio at my house, and we do the drums at the 25th Street Recording Studios in Oakland. They got a great big giant room, so we get a slamming drum tone. And then we do the rest of vocals and guitars and, mixing everything over at my house in my recording studio.
So, I mean, you guys have been at this a long time. Is there anything as far as songwriting or anything? I mean, is it like getting on a bike these days, or is there something maybe you're trying, you got the new guys in the band, maybe trying something new this time around?
I don't think so. I'm always writing. So there's, I've always got a plethora of songs and song ideas. And then John gives me guitar licks and Ron gives me guitar licks. And this time around, it was pretty cool because Craig and Dylan, they both write too. So they have a song on the album. It's called Shut Up. So it's a little bit easier, I guess, realistically, because now I have 5 guys who are contributing to the album, and whereas it used to be 3 guys contributing to the album. So we have a lot more to choose from. It's pretty cool.
And as you mentioned, the first album, it's been 35 years.
Yeah, I can't even believe that.
Can you talk a bit about those early days? I mean, you guys were hanging out with Clive Davis and really hit the ground running pretty quickly there.
Yeah, it was like a roller coaster ride, a lot of highs and a lot of lows, I think just getting signed to Arista Records by Clive Davis personally himself at a showcase, and he really took us under his wing, I talked a lot to him on the phone, and I had meetings with him, and I went to New York a few times, so I got to know him pretty well, and he gave me a lot of interesting tips, and I just think that the band's run got shut down, but when Nirvana came along and all the grunge stuff came along, it kind of shot a lot of us bands out of the air. You know what I mean? Unless we would have kept on running for a while there.
Well, so much has changed since then. Obviously you guys had to hit the ground and flyers everywhere, and hopefully somebody like Clive Davis might stumble into a show and see you, and now, as you mentioned, you've got your own studio and you can pretty much just call your own shots these days. Yeah.
There's pluses and minuses about all that. You know what I mean? Our first album, I think we spent like $150,000 just to make the record, so you'd be insane to spend even a quarter of that nowadays on a record. You know what I mean? It's just, the technology has grown so much and so fast that it's a lot easier to make a record in the perspective that you can do it on your own time and stuff like that. But at the same time, without having a major record label, you're pretty much forced, even if with a smaller label, to do it kind of on your own. You know what I mean?
Sure.
It has its plus and it has its minuses, but it's all good with us, man. We're still having fun. So that's the main thing.
Well, Derek, I got to ask you about The Kids Go Wild. The video with RoboCop. I know for me and a lot of other people, that's kind of how they discovered Babylon A.D. What are some of your memories of making that video, hanging out with RoboCop?
Yeah, that's pretty funny. I don't know if we really hung out with him too much, to be honest with you. The guy that was in the suit in the RoboCop was the guy that worked at our record label. Whenever he'd be. Yeah, so it was pretty funny. So what people think of as RoboCop is really a guy from our record company in the suit, So that's always been like a joke for us with the band, But it was fun making the video because we were on a huge movie set, and we had some of the characters that were in the movie there, you know what I mean, in the video and things like that. The only thing I kind of regret is that they took Sam Kinnison's voice out of the video because they just, because of some of the swearing, they were like, we can't have this. So for the band, it was kind of a bummer because, we love Sam and he really contributed a lot. You know what I mean? So
what was the story behind that? Was he actually in the studio to record the stuff that wound up on the album?
Well, what happened with that was we were recording at I think it was Ocean Way in Los Angeles, and Robert Palmer was recording there, and also Sam Kinison was recording his album there. So we'd pass the halls and see each other, and pretty soon you're in a studio for a couple months, seeing everybody all the time. And Sam, we used to go to about 1:00, and Sam would go to like 6:00 in the morning, So we party a little bit and stuff like that, and get a little hedonistic, and he asked me if I'd sing on his record, so I sang some backup on his record, and I told him, hey, you're going to have to come sing on my record. And he said, you mean come and scream on your record? I said, yeah, you're going to have to come and scream on my record, So I queued up Kid Goes Wild. And he said, I'll be over about 4:00 in the morning. I said, okay. So sure enough, he was there around 4:00 in the morning, and I had something written down what I thought he might say, you cops, this and that, everything for the breakdown of the song. And he looked at it and read it, and he goes, okay. And then he just kind of did his own thing. And 2 takes later, it was just done. And it was, screaming Sam Kinison, just doing his thing. And it just fit the song perfect,
That's awesome. I don't know if a lot of people remember when he was putting out his comedy albums, he was kind of tacking on actual music on there as well. And he was kind of going more that route towards the end there.
Yeah, he was. Yep, he did some Stones, and he had a couple songs were playing at the radio, and they weren't like a joke either. I mean, he hired some great musicians to play on that album. I think Slash played on the album too. It was a good album. It was all covers though, but it was cool. It was fun.
Well, Derek, again, the new album, Rome Wasn't Built in a Day, sounds great. I know you guys got some live shows coming up this year. Will you be making your way to us here in Minnesota maybe this year?
I hope so. I hope we get to everywhere. More dates are coming in. Like every other day, we get another 2 or 3 dates piled up. Right now, we've got about 10 of them that are contracted and everything like that. But we're hitting. I know we're hitting Texas in September. We're hitting Florida. These are just from conversations I've had with my manager in the last few days. Europe. So there's a lot of stuff happening. And hopefully, we'll get out your way.
Yeah, it is great how things have worked out. You mentioned when grunge music came on the scene and kind of had changed things and wiped out some of the bands, but now it seems like the bands from that era today are really out there, making a go of it on the road here, and a lot of people are nostalgic for that time for sure.
Yeah, and I think maybe just because we're all a little bit older and we have disposable money, and people are like, man, I just want to go back to whenever I had a great time in high school, and and remember that song that really did this for me or whatever, and it feels good, man, because people are still buying the record and they're still listening to the stuff. And I don't really think that there's, after the grunge music scene, I really don't think there was a place for like hard rock type of just, wild youth, especially guys, that just want to party and stuff. All of a sudden it just got stuck into like, Justin Bieber stuff, it wasn't like how tough is that? You know what I mean? Because bands are like gangs, and it's like you find a band and that's your gang. Like my gang was AC/DC and Aerosmith. You know what I mean? Those are the guys I liked.
Sure.
Montrose, things like that, UFO, and each band had their own sound, and each band was like a little gang. And then as time goes by, and like I said, the music comes by, and by the 2000s, I mean, what bands were there anymore? What kind of gangs were there anymore? What kind of bands were there? There wasn't any. It was all just a bunch of solo artists from the Mickey Mouse Club, So people are gravitating back to what a real hard rock band is, or something that they something that they're familiar with, that makes them feel good,
Sure. Well, it's great that you guys are out there still doing it on the road here, and you got the new album out, I know. Is there anything else maybe in the works we should be looking out for?
I'm writing some songs with the other guitar player that was in Babylon A.D. for years, Dan De La Rosa. We're writing some songs for an EP that's going to be coming out.
Okay. And
we're also already starting to write songs, and we've got some songs in the can for the next album. We're already thinking ahead, and we've got another video coming out. Maybe in about another 6 weeks or so for another single. So I think we're about 4 or 5 singles deep. So we're told, anyways, from the record company and from our management and radio people that we have promoting us. So we're just going to keep on rolling for a while,
Awesome, man. It's been great speaking with you, Derek, and I'm glad you guys are out there having the success here with the new album, and hopefully you'll make your way to Minnesota here soon.
All right. Yeah, I hope so too, man. All right, man. Thank you.
And again, that was Derek Davis of Babylon A.D., and their new album, Rome Wasn't Built in a Day, is out now.